Charles, Prince of Wales, Charles Philip Arthur George, born November 14, 1948, is the heir apparent to the British throne as the eldest son of Queen Elizabeth II. He has been Duke of Cornwall and Duke of Rothesay since 1952, and he is the oldest and longest-serving heir apparent in British history. 2. He is also the longest-serving Prince of Wales, having held that title since 1958. 3. Charles was born at Buckingham Palace as the first grandchild of King George VI and Queen Elizabeth. He was educated at Cheam and Gordonstoun schools, which his father, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, had attended as a child. Charles also spent a year at the Timbertop campus of Geelong Grammar School in Victoria, Australia. After earning a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Cambridge, Charles served in the Royal Air Force and Royal Navy from 1971 to 1976. In 1981, he married Lady Diana Spencer, and they had two sons, Prince William, born 1982, and Prince Harry, born 1984. In 1996, the couple divorced following well-publicized extramarital affairs by both parties. Diana died as the result of a car crash in Paris the following year. In 2005, Charles married longtime partner Camilla Parker Bowles. As Prince of Wales, Charles undertakes official duties on behalf of the Queen and the Commonwealth realms. Charles founded the Prince's Trust in 1976, sponsors the Prince's charities, and is a patron, president, and a member of over 400 other charities and organizations. As an environmentalist, he raises awareness of organic farming and climate change, which has earned him awards and recognition from environmental groups. 4, 5, 6, 7. His support for alternative medicine, including homeopathy, has been criticized by many in the medical community. 8, 9. And his views on the role of architecture in society and the conservation of historic buildings have received considerable attention from British architects and design critics. 10, 11, 12. Since 1993, Charles has worked on the creation of Poundbury, an experimental new town based on his preferences. He is also an author and co-author of a number of books. Charles was born at Buckingham Palace in London during the reign of his maternal grandfather George VI on November 14, 1948, at 9:14 p.m. GMT, 1314, the first child of Princess Elizabeth, Duchess of Edinburgh, and Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, originally Prince Philip of Greece and Denmark, and first grandchild of King George VI and Queen Elizabeth. He was baptized in the palace's music room by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Geoffrey Fisher, on December 15, 1948. FN 3. The death of his grandfather and the accession of his mother as Queen Elizabeth II in 1952 made Charles her heir apparent. As the monarch's eldest son, he automatically took the titles Duke of Cornwall, Duke of Rothesay, Earl of Carrick, Baron of Renfrew, Lord of the Isles and Prince and Great Steward of Scotland. 16. Charles attended his mother's coronation at Westminster Abbey on June 2, 1953. 17. As was customary for upper-class children at the time, a governess, Catherine Peebles, was appointed and undertook his education between the ages of 5 and 8. Buckingham Palace announced in 1955 that Charles would attend school rather than have a private tutor, making him the first heir apparent to be educated in that manner. 18. On November 7, 1956, Charles commenced classes at Hill House School, in West London. 19. He did not receive preferential treatment from the school's founder and headmaster, Stuart Townend, who advised the Queen to have Charles train in football because the boys were never deferential to anyone on the football field. 20. Charles then attended two of his father's former schools, Cheam Preparatory School in Berkshire, England, 21, from 1958, 19, followed by Gordonstoun in the northeast of Scotland, 22, beginning classes there in April 1962. 19, though he reportedly described Gordonstoun, noted for its especially rigorous curriculum, as Colditz in kilts. 21, Charles subsequently praised Gordonstoun, stating it had taught him a great deal about myself and my own abilities and disabilities. It taught me to accept challenges and take the initiative. In a 1975 interview, he said he was glad he had attended Gordonstoun and that the toughness of the place was much exaggerated. 23. He spent 2 terms in 1966 at the Timbertop campus of Geelong Grammar School in Victoria, Australia, during which time he visited Papua New Guinea on a school trip with his history tutor, Michael Collins Peirce. 24, 25, 26. In 1973, Charles described his time at Timbertop as the most enjoyable part of his whole education. 27. Upon his return to Gordonstoun, Charles emulated his father in becoming head boy. He left in 1967, with 6 GCE O-levels and 2 A-levels in history and French, at grades B and C respectively. 24-28. On his early education, Charles later remarked, "I didn't enjoy school as much as I might have. But that was only because I'm happier at home than anywhere else." 23. Charles broke royal tradition a second time when he proceeded straight to university after his A-levels, rather than joining the British Armed Forces. 21. In October 1967, he was admitted to Trinity College, Cambridge, where he read anthropology, archaeology, and history. 29-24. During his second year, Charles attended the University College of Wales in Aberystwyth, studying Welsh history and language for a term. 24. He graduated from Cambridge with a 2:2 Bachelor of Arts on June 23, 1970, the first heir apparent to earn a university degree. 24. On August 2, 1975, he was awarded a Master of Arts degree from Cambridge. 24. At Cambridge, Master of Arts is an academic rank, not a postgraduate degree. Charles was created Prince of Wales and Earl of Chester on July 26, 1958, 30-31, though his investiture was not held until July 1, 1969, when he was crowned by his mother in a televised ceremony held at Carnarvon Castle. 32. He took his seat in the House of Lords in 1970, 33-34, and he made his maiden speech in June 1974, 35, the first royal to speak from the floor since the future Edward VII in 1884. 36. He spoke again in 1975. 37. Charles began to take on more public duties, founding the Prince's Trust in 1976, 38, and traveling to the United States in 1981. 39. In the mid-1970s, the Prince expressed an interest in serving as Governor-General of Australia, at the suggestion of Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Fraser, but because of a lack of public enthusiasm nothing came of the proposal. 40. Charles accepted the decision, if not without some regret. He said, "So, what are you supposed to think when you are prepared to do something to help and you are just told you're not wanted?" 41. Charles is the longest-serving Prince of Wales, having surpassed the record held by Edward VII on September 9, 2017. 3. He is the oldest and longest-serving British heir apparent, the longest-serving Duke of Cornwall, and the longest-serving Duke of Rothesay. 2. If he becomes monarch, he will be the oldest person to do so, the current record holder being William IV, who was 64 when he became king in 1830. 42. In 2008, the Daily Telegraph described Charles as the hardest-working member of the royal family. 43. He carried out 560 official engagements in 2008, 43, 499 in 2010, 44, and over 600 in 2011. As Prince of Wales, Charles undertakes official duties on behalf of the Queen and the Commonwealth realms. He officiates at investitures and attends the funerals of foreign dignitaries. 45. Prince Charles makes regular tours of Wales, fulfilling a week of engagements each summer, and attending important national occasions, such as opening the Senedd. 46. The 6 trustees of the Royal Collection Trust meet 3 times a year under his chairmanship. 47. Prince Charles travels abroad on behalf of the United Kingdom. Charles has been regarded as an effective advocate of the country. In 1983, Christopher John Lewis, who had fired a shot with a .22 rifle at the Queen in 1981, attempted to escape a psychiatric hospital in order to assassinate Charles, who was visiting New Zealand with Diana and William. 48. While visiting Australia in January 1994, 2 shots from a starting pistol were fired at him on Australia Day by David Kang in protest of the treatment of several hundred Cambodian asylum seekers held in detention camps. 49-50. In 1995, Charles became the first member of the royal family to visit the Republic of Ireland in an official capacity. 51-52. In 2000, Charles revived the tradition of the Prince of Wales having an official harpist, in order to foster Welsh talent at playing the harp, the national instrument of Wales. He and the Duchess of Cornwall also spend 1 week each year in Scotland, where he is patron of several Scottish organisations. 53. His service to the Canadian Armed Forces permits him to be informed of troop activities, and allows him to visit these troops while in Canada or overseas, taking part in ceremonial occasions. 54. For instance, in 2001 he placed a specially commissioned wreath, made from vegetation taken from French battlefields, at the Canadian Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. 55, and in 1981 he became the patron of the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum. 56. At the funeral of Pope John Paul II in 2005, Charles unintentionally caused controversy when he shook hands with Robert Mugabe, the president of Zimbabwe, who had been seated next to him. Charles's office subsequently released a statement saying, "The Prince of Wales was caught by surprise and not in a position to avoid shaking Mr. Mugabe's hand." The Prince finds the current Zimbabwean regime abhorrent. He has supported the Zimbabwe Defense and Aid Fund, which works with those being oppressed by the regime. The Prince also recently met Pius Nube, the Archbishop of Bulawayo, an outspoken critic of the government. 57. In November 2001, Charles was struck in the face with 3 red carnations by teenager Alina Lebedeva, whilst he was on an official visit to Latvia. 58. In 2010, Charles represented the Queen at the opening ceremony of the 2010 Commonwealth Games in Delhi, India. 59. He attends official events in the United Kingdom in support of Commonwealth countries, such as the Christchurch Earthquake Memorial Service at Westminster Abbey in 2011. 60. 61. 62. From 15 to November 17, 2013, he represented the Queen for the first time at a Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, in Colombo, Sri Lanka. 63. 64.